Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Affiliate Marketing Academy. I'm your host, Olivia, and today we're speaking with Maor Benaim. He's been in the industry for about 14 years now. He's a full-stack media buyer, so he has a lot of experience, and he's the author of a best-selling book called Unleash Your Inner Wolf. Today we're going to be talking about how to have success promoting VSL offers, so stick around to learn all the insider tips. All right. Well, Maor, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about how to have success promoting VSL offers. But before we get started into today's conversation, Maor, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the space?
Well, yeah, I've been in the space something like 14 years now, I think. I've been playing with the affiliate marketing world, with the agency world, and just like having brands of my own. So I'm kind of like doing everything. My true passion, believe it or not, is not marketing as much as it is to really help people. So that's why I came up with my first book in October. It's called Unleash Your Inner Wolf. It's kind of like a mixture of digital marketing and entrepreneurship with everything I learned from therapy, and lots of therapy. And it's like 40 plus therapists and business coaches and stuff like that. So that's a big portion of what I do now. I'm still a media buyer. I still run my own campaigns. I have teams and stuff like that. But right now it's so diverse. It's like 9 different companies and different people managing it and media buyers and stuff like that. So I am digging into the campaigns regardless of how big or small they are, because that's like my obsession. I'm a person that really obsesses. But yeah, that's like my 2 biggest passions.
Cool. Yeah, your book sounds awesome, especially since you mentioned there's like a lot of therapy involved and like personal stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to read
definitely. It's very, let me get the wolf in the frame.
Oh, I love that. I have one kind of like that actually. It's I made it out of paper stock. It has that same color too, so very cool.
But I probably need to work on my background. I feel like I have my Affiliate World Hall of Fame award, and I have my wolf that's been with me for, it's actually, I think that's my longest relationship right here.
That's funny.
Yeah, longer than I have the relationship with my dog, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love your wolf. It looks great. So why would you recommend affiliates promote VSL offers specifically?
First of all, I really try and not recommend anything in the space because I feel like it's very individual. It's kind of like medicine, I feel like medicine is going through a major progression as well, as if 5 years ago or even 2 years ago, people, they would look at, if you go to a doctor, you have a few symptoms and they would diagnose you according to your symptoms. Well, I really feel like every person have their own edge, their own unfair advantage, their own passion, and something like that. So I don't think anyone should run anything specific. I think that before you even start sending clicks or opening up a campaign, you need to find something that you're passionate about, because at the end of the day, even as an affiliate, but certainly as a brand owner, you want to have that extra edge. You want to have, like, for example, if you're really into casino games, you know how slot machine works, and you think like a slots player, then you're going to run amazing casino campaigns. And if you have, a family member, or you have some health problems in a specific niche, maybe you snore at night, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to get into that person's, head, the end customer.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. In your opinion, what traffic source would you run best for promoting VSL offers?
That's a very big question. And I feel like some people really start from the offer and match the platform to the offer, and some do it really the opposite way, where they're really good within, one platform, and then they find offers that work within that specific platform. And just like your previous question, there's no right or wrong answers, and there are a lot of positives and negatives. Just because we have a shorter amount of time in this podcast, let's go to the top 4. You have natives, which is Taboola and Outbrain usually, and then you have Facebook, Instagram, and then you have Google, which is huge, all of the networks, Dimension, YouTube, GDN, search. Then you have TikTok, that's up and coming. And I feel like every platform has their own pros and cons. With natives, It's more automated nowadays. It used to be very manual. You used to go and bid adjust every placement, every publisher block and stuff like that. So it's much more automated, and it's definitely less saturated than Facebook and Instagram. But I feel like the biggest thing with natives is the fact that you get very specific feedback from their policy. So if you have like a landing page, if you have an offer that you want to see if it's going to work on Google or Facebook in terms of policy, you don't want to get your accounts banned and stuff like that. I really like and get like a feedback from Taboola or Outbrain. Also, one of the biggest pros is that natives are generally speaking more cheap during the first 2 quarters of the year, so that's a big advantage. It's better for health related stuff, and day parting really works there. But then if you look at the cons of native platforms, then you have the biggest like downside is that you need nowadays a lot of money to stabilize a campaign. If you have a very limited budget, or you don't you really need to feel secure about the offer, your skill set and stuff like that, then don't even run there, because you're gonna spend, regardless of the CPA the offer has or the network gives you, it's gonna be a while till it optimizes. You have to have a managed account with them in order to really run smoothly, and you're gonna need a lot of like creative testing and stuff like that. The biggest downside in terms of traffic is that they have lots of ARB, which is arbitrage and push traffic. So you want to avoid that, and being managed really helps. And then if you look at Facebook and Instagram, it's usually the easiest win and the cheapest platform in terms of how much money you're going to spend in order to stabilize the campaign. Bid and cost cap really work and make offers and campaigns sustainable. Most of the things that are working there, just like that's the easiest win. And it's very easy to spy there. And then you have the cons, which is very similar to the pros actually, because the fact that it's very easy and it's the go-to place for most media buyers, it's also the most saturated. And the fact that it's easier to spy, it only means that if another affiliate sees your ad, he might search for that offer as well, which is very good for the advertiser or the network, because the network gets more affiliates from that traction. And it's also been really unstable lately. The last few months with Facebook has been up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that affiliates are really suffering from is the account stability, which is like getting banned and stuff like that. So that's why I think the tip of really going into natives works for that specific thing and acts like a barrier. And then you have Google, which is kind of like my go-to place, because it's easier to scale when something works there, has less policy issues. If you have a very stable account, a very stable MCC, which is the equivalent of a business manager, it allows for a lot more targeting options for sure, if you compare it to Facebook. And you have deeper optimization options and stuff like that. You can do day parting. It has the most networks, the most placements. And then the cons are very big as well. It's definitely the platform that takes the most skill, for sure. Overspending is something that happens frequently there, especially at the beginning of launching a campaign. So that's the biggest tip I can give for beginners, is when you launch a campaign, you want to make sure that you set a budget, that you take into consideration that budget would or probably is going to do twice as much. And also it takes the most time to manage, just because you have lots of options, lots of different, possibilities. And I know it's a very, very long answer.
No, it's great.
I have to finish with TikTok. TikTok being the probably least saturated platform out of the ones that we talked about. You do get cash back on ad spend if you're able to negotiate that. And targeting by content works now on TikTok, which is great. The cons are very big with that platform as well. So it probably is the hardest in terms of policy nowadays. It's very hard to go through that. It's a video-only platform, so if you're going to use images on Facebook and stuff like that, you have to come up with videos, and videos that really fit that specific platform. You have the fastest creative fatigue. You need to burn and create lots of creatives, a lot of them on that specific platform. It's the hardest one to scale. You really have to be technical and really understand how the platform works. And just because it's the earliest platform out of the bunch, it's slower, it's more buggy, it's less mature. So that's in terms of, the ad platforms nowadays.
Oh, wow. Would you say TikTok is relatively cheaper than the others?
I wouldn't say that, because when you say cheaper, sometimes you would get clicks that are, I don't know, 50 cents, but it's not going to convert. And sometimes you're going to get $4, $6, and that converts. At the end of the day, all affiliates need to care about is the EPC. That's what you're making money on, the margin between what you spend on a click and what you're getting for a click. If you are a brand owner or you are the advertiser, and you have listings on Amazon, other websites, then you do care about the CPMs and CPCs, because that increases the amount of people who actually click on and search for your product and buy it elsewhere.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I really like how you mentioned that native is like, it doesn't have as many issues with like compliance, like compared to Facebook.
It's not that it doesn't have, compared to Facebook, Facebook is like the hardest one, by far.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't have it, it's that they, unlike Facebook, I mean, my biggest rejection with Facebook is that the fact that they don't give you, they've never given any sort of like explanation in regards to what's wrong, so they kind of like built the black hat industry within their own, two hands, just because they've never given any explanation. If they would have said, you need to change that, or we have an issue with the algorithm that recognizes this and that, then people would make adjustments, at least some of them. But since they haven't, people were making money and they're just opening up more accounts and stuff like that. And that has made the platform a lot more sensitive on the other side. So
yeah, it's a mess.
I
know a lot of affiliates that have gone through that. And even me, like when I've tried to run ads and get banned for practically no reason because you really don't know what's going on. It's just very frustrating.
Yeah, so what happened is kind of like it's a circle at the end of the day. So because people really abused that system and they've gotten into lawsuits and stuff like that, they've made the system and the platform so sensitive to the point where it's blocking people for no reason. So yeah, it's frustrating. So I know you said you don't really recommend anything specific for anyone, but would you say that there's a type of creative that works best for VSL offers? I'm not a creative guy. I'm a very technical guy. I don't do any creatives. But I do have a new video on my YouTube page that talk about what I call the creative misconception, which essentially is what happens is that, and I'm going through it like every other week with another affiliate, what happens is that usually the network or advertiser would give the affiliate an offer that's going to be, for example, at a payout that's like $100. They open up a campaign, doesn't matter where, for a daily budget of $300. The platform gives really good results for the first day to 3 days. And then the CPA goes up, the campaign goes down, and the advertiser thinks that they basically need to change creatives. So what actually happens is very, very, very different. When you ask those affiliates if they're running lead gen, what's going on with your lead gen campaigns? And they would say, oh, you know what? They're much more stable. I have some creatives there that are running for months and stuff like that. And usually the reason for that is that the CPL, the lead campaign, offers much, much lower payout. So what happens is that when you launch a campaign, regardless of the ad platform, the algorithm is asking the advertiser, or just like it's looking for at least 12 conversions a day. And what happens is that it gets 3, 4, 5 conversions. And then because it didn't get to 12 conversions and it's sure that the advertiser has placed a budget that allows that, then the ad platform basically says, okay, the CPA here must be a lot cheaper. I'm getting CPAs at a much larger price than I should. And it goes on a discovery, an exploration mode. It goes on different age groups, different types of interests, different genders, different placements and stuff like that. And that's why you see a spike in CPCs sometimes, or a spike in CPAs, and your campaigns are doomed. The quick fix most affiliates are doing, or advertisers are just pumping more and more creatives because they're sending the campaign back into learning mode, basically. You know?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that. And also on my next presentation, I'm talking about a research that was just recently, a few months ago, like even 1 month ago, Kantar, they published something that was a very, very interesting research. And basically they looked at 1,500 TV ads in 3 different markets, and they couldn't find a correlation between how much times the user saw the ad and what they decided is the fed up score. So basically, they looked at top of funnel and bottom of funnel, and they found that with the bottom of funnel, if someone saw the ad a few times, like 4 times, the chances of that user to convert goes down by 45%, something like that. With top of funnel ads, they found out that we get bored, we, the advertisers, or the affiliates, we get bored from our own creatives very quick. So we need to stop changing creatives for at least for top of funnel. And again, this it works for TV, but other research shows that it's the same with ads online. So
Oh, wow. That's interesting. But that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, if you have too much going on, yeah, like the learning phase kicks in again. So yeah, good tip.
Most times you get learning limited if we're talking about Facebook, and the platform would just keep on searching on Google, for example. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Would you recommend using AI for promoting VSL offers?
In what way?
Anyway, I mean, it could be for the copy of the VSL.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Anything.
Yeah.
AI can be used in so many ways now.
Yeah, so it's been used in so many ways, and we're not even beginning to do it. I feel like, when there's new technology, the first industries that take advantage of that technology are usually very abusive industries, like the porn industry and stuff like that. If there's VR, there's VR with porn. It's the first thing. So I feel like right now, I personally see it being used with scam campaigns.
Oh, really?
And I think that users are going to get used to it very fast. So if you're using AI, the script and the production needs to be at a high level if you want to attract, certain kind of like person. But I personally use it for copy and stuff like that. But again, it's kind of like looking at another affiliate's landing page or advertorial. You want to use that for inspiration. You don't want to copy paste it. Sometimes I go into people's LinkedIn profiles or Facebook, and I see, the company is doing this and that, and we got a new investment and stuff like that. And how a text that was made by AI, now you actually are able to recognize that it was made by AI, and you're like, you want to use that for inspiration. You want to use, a certain thing, but still, if you can differentiate with your eyes, with your brain between AI and what a human wrote, then we're not quite there yet, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We're getting there, but not there, like you said. So, do you have any future predictions for affiliate promotions with VSL offers?
I don't see VSL as something that's going to die out soon. I think there is a big opportunity within. Marketing is such a big world, and digital marketing is such a big industry. And I feel like if someone is very good with direct response and is able to take a product or a marketing funnel for a product that's not using direct response and turn it into a VSL, I feel like that's a very big opportunity right there. Again, I feel like VSLs are really made for offers that are not that good to begin with, or that people don't usually need that product necessarily, So if the offer is good enough, you don't need to push it down people's throat. And I feel like the difference when I see platforms like TikTok, then I see people that act in a very different way. I see advertorials working way less better than they do on Google or Facebook, because it's a much younger audience that's used to that specific type of marketing. So I do think that it is going to change. In what way, I have no idea.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Do you have any final tips and tricks to give our audience that are just starting out?
Yeah, actually, I have a few. So I think that in general, VSLs or not, I feel like consistency is key. Like, I can't tell you how many times I ran a campaign, I lost so much money, Olivia. You have no idea. I have no idea. So much money. You have no idea. And then, all of a sudden, something connected. I really, really believe that that campaign is going to work. And then, sometimes it's creative. Sometimes it's just like learning more about the product and optimizing. Sometimes it's changing platforms. Sometimes it's just like very technical, a different campaign structure, different bidding options, stuff like that. But again, if you're not going to be consistent and you expect just to launch and make money and print it off your ears or nose, then affiliate marketing nowadays in 2024 is definitely not for you. So that's what I want to begin with. The second tip for beginners is start with one platform. Figure out what either creatives or angles work for you and warm up the pixels, warm up the page, warm up the accounts. And don't get overexcited in the first week or two. Affiliates are junkies on steroids. They're dopamine junkies, of course.
Right.
Yeah. So they get very excited on the first week, first 10 days. They write to their affiliate manager, it's working amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then they start scaling all over the place, and they start either losing focus or their offer goes down or something like that. So build a very stable baseline of profitability within one platform and use those profits to test on other platforms. That's the second tip that I have. The third tip is a bit more technical and more advanced, and that's make sure that you implement more than one conversion when you run VSL campaigns. So you got to understand that the platforms, the ad platforms, they're built mainly 95, 98% for two types of campaigns: lead campaigns, e-commerce campaigns. Right. They're not built for arbitrage campaigns. They're not built for VSLs. So they need to see the whole funnel. They need to see someone who clicks on a product, adds to wishing list, adds to cart, initiates checkout, every, standard conversion that Shopify implements automatically when you connect and sync the Shopify Facebook app with the ad account. So you want to imitate that as much as possible. And since you don't have access usually to the offer because you're running it through a network, you want to make sure that you implement as many micro conversions as you can. So for example, if someone clicks out from the advertorial to the landing page, if someone views the video on the VSL for more than 2 minutes, let's call it initiate checkout. Anything that shows the platform, the funnel, so it recognizes and segments out the different audiences. That's a very big one. I think I said it within TikTok. I would recommend testing direct traffic as well. If you have a store, if you have something like that, don't use advertorials, test it. If you're using a tracker and something like that. I have two tips in mind that are more advanced. Do you want to?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So it's like the first time I'm sharing both of them. So
cool.
The first one is something that I use, which is getting audience that I'm using for one campaign into a second campaign. Okay, so for example, if I'm running a gadget that I know that the main audience that's buying it is people who are over 50 or over even 55. And then I have a campaign that's running an ED type of product, EDME. Then I know that if I create a lot of people who already clicked on the ad from that campaign, the first one, and I retarget them into the ED thing, as long as I keep pumping and increasing the audience on that first campaign, that audience is going to target, one, people who in general click on ads, two, which is already, cutting down 20, 90, 95, depends on your CTR, 95, 98% of all the people that are being served the ad. So you're already serving the ad to people who are not afraid of clicking on ads or are more leaned into clicking on ads. And then the second thing is that you already know the audience age. So you know that the age fits. So that's another filter. And that has been working really good for me, like to the point where some campaigns I lose money here to make money, a lot of money here. Because with pricing, with more affiliates coming, you need to kind of like think of creative ways. And the second tip would be understanding the big change that Facebook targeting has gone through. So right now, the way that Facebook targets is by looking at the ad copy, the text, looking at the image, and looking at the video and the content of the video and understanding what you're really selling. And then it targets people that either clicked on ads that are similar or, stuff like that. So that's the way that it targets nowadays. So if you feel like you're trying to scale and you need a different audience, what you need to do is change basically to a different creative or texts, and you're gonna get different results. The cool thing is that Facebook is also pricing the ads according to the niche. So for example, if you're gonna do a gadget, then you can pay $1 to $3 or $4 CPC. But if you're gonna do ED, you're very highly likely to pay under 30 cents. And so just in general, because I'm not gonna give a specific example, but just in general, if you can make the ad platform understand or think that you're running ED while you're actually running a gadget, you're gonna get very, very, very cheap traffic.
Oh, interesting. Very cool tips.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, a lot of them. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me. I absolutely love the company. I think that you guys are really leading the way. I love everyone that works there.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, maybe we'll do a part 2 in the future. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks again for being here. Well, that's it for today, you guys. I hope this has been an awesome episode for you. I definitely want to use some of these tips that Maor gave us into our own Digistore 24 campaign. So I'm really excited about that. And I absolutely going to read his book. If you want to learn more about it or purchase it, just click on the link in the description. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.